Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Silverfield at the University of Arkansas. Okay, and so let's talk Ryan Silverfield. Let's talk Arkansas. And let's be fair on all accounts to what was said by me and by a lot of people on Sunday when this hire became official. Okay, by the way, another great edit by Matt over here. So Ryan Silverfield, he gets hired. I don't know that I certainly didn't love the hire. It's for all the stuff that we talked about, probably the most resources in the group of five, went 8-4, lost 3 straight to end the regular season, whatever. But it was the hire after a culmination of several months in which there was a real moment in time where people thought Arkansas was getting James Franklin, and there was a real moment in time where people thought Arkansas was getting Alex Golish. And so you get neither. It's another stain on Hunter Yurachek, the AD's resume. And if you listen to Sunday's show, I didn't even really talk so much about the hire, Ryan Silverfield, could it work? It was more Hunter Yurachek just keeps screwing up everything. The wrong messaging, said at a media availability earlier this summer or earlier this fall that we're not built to win in the SEC currently. We know, whatever, it's not totally his fault, but he didn't really make the John Calipari hire. John Tyson did. And so I only bring it up because I think there was a lot of negativity Sunday going into Monday about Ryan Silverfield. Then Ryan Silverfield had a first day on the job for the ages. And I got to be honest, feels like momentum has slipped a lot. There's a lot of Silverfield supporters out there in Arkansas. So let's go ahead and just dive into an awesome first day for Ryan Silverfield. I was not familiar with your game, my man, because he crushed it on day one. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some recruiting stuff in a minute. But before we get there, I want to play a clip. Hogs Plus, and Arkansas fans correct me, but I believe is kind of their NIL media outlet, and there's a lot of stuff behind a paywall, but they put out clips. I've actually been on the Hogs Plus show with Coach Z and the guys there. But why I want to discuss it is because I didn't see the whole interview. I don't know if the whole interview is behind a paywall, but I saw a clip that started to go viral on my timeline on Tuesday. It was about Ryan Silverfield talking about not only the Arkansas job, but why he wanted the Arkansas job, why he expects to win big at the Arkansas job right away. Producer Matt, you could play that sound.
About Arkansas football, I think about the rich traditions, the history of this place, and I think about winning football. I don't think about the recent history and what was me. No, what we're going to get back to, and then actually what we're going to get past and show people, listen, why can't this be the best football program in the entire country? And it doesn't have to sit there and say, okay, Ryan, is it going to take 5 years, 10 years? What's your plan? No, it's a right now mentality. We're going to have to win right now. We're going to have to bring in the right type of people right now and go show people what we're all about and go show the country what Arkansas is really all about.
So that was Ryan Silverfield on day one. Again, courtesy of Hogs Plus. And so let's just spend half a second on that because, listen, every coach on day one is going to talk about this is the greatest job ever, can't wait to be here, can't wait to get started, all of that. I do think that message at that moment in time, at this moment in time, specifically at Arkansas, is important specifically for this fan base and for this job. Okay, so what do I mean by that? What I mean is that, listen, you don't need me to tell you, the vibes at Arkansas about this football program are pretty low right now. Okay, and it's nobody's fault, but you're coming off a 2-10 season. You're coming off an 0-8 slate in the SEC. And I think as importantly, I said it a second ago, the messaging has been terrible, right? Hunter Yurachek literally said at the Little Rock Touchdown Club back in September, we're not really built to win in the SEC. And it's like, you can't say that. Even if you think it, you don't ever say that. And so once that comes out, it just becomes a situation of like, the vibes are just low. And so then you follow that up with a 2-10 season, 0-8 in the SEC. And so I do think it's just important to hear a coach say, like, I believe in this place. I know what happened this past fall. I know it hasn't been a great, 10, 12 years overall since Bobby Petrino left the first time, but I associate this place with winning. I'm old enough to remember Bobby Petrino 1.0. I'm old enough to remember Houston not going to SEC championship games. I'm old enough to remember maybe even Lou Holtz back in the day. That I don't know. That might be a little bit before his time. But to me, that does matter. That messaging of like, why can't we win here? It goes back to what we said with Will Stein a few minutes ago. If Diego Pavia and Clark Lee can win at Vanderbilt, if Lane Kiffin can win at Ole Miss, there's no reason that either Will Stein can't win at Kentucky, or in this case, that Ryan Silverfield can't win at the University of Arkansas. So I thought that messaging was very important. And to take it a step further, I also think what happened on Monday is probably even more important. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some of this Ryan Silverfield stuff, because I'll tell you what, I was busy covering the Mark Stoops stuff and Kalani Sitake, what's going on there. Every time I logged into social media, Ryan Silverfield was flipping somebody else. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. And listen, so before we get into this, let me do the caveat. I'm not a high school football recruiting expert, okay? But so I'm not going to sit here and break down, well, this 3-technique lineman, like that's not what we're going to do. But what I will say, I noticed trends, and I noticed a very important trend in high school football recruiting on Monday afternoon. Ryan Silverfield is going after dogs, and he's going after dogs from Arkansas specifically. Okay, so the first thing that I saw, how about this? You guys familiar with the name Danny Beal? Danny Beal is the number 1 ranked high school player in the state of Arkansas. Previously was committed to Oklahoma State from beautiful Cherry Valley, Arkansas, by the way, which I looked up. Population of 700 and change. In Cross County. I did some very early Cherry Valley, Arkansas research, so that was fun. Home of Paul Young, by the way, an innovative fly fisherman. Learned that as well at about 5:35 Pacific time on Tuesday morning. The places Wikipedia takes you, let me tell you. Anyway, back to Danny Beal, because one day I expect him to be on that Wikipedia page for Cherry Valley, Arkansas, because was committed to Arkansas, boom, on Monday, or was committed to Oklahoma State, had decommitted a few weeks ago, but on Monday commits to the University of Arkansas. This is Eli Letterman of ESPN saying he's the 109th ranked prospect in America. Major in-state pledge for Ryan Silverfield. And if all Ryan Silverfield did on Monday was flip, or he didn't technically flip, but you get the point, get a commitment from the number 1 recruit in the state, that'd be a pretty good day. But my man Ryan Silverfield was not done, because just hours later, what happened? Oh, I don't know. Ja'Cory Smith, 3-star linebacker, was committed to Oklahoma, flips to Arkansas. Again, not a recruiting expert, but if Brent Venables thinks you're good enough to play linebacker for him, I'm guessing you're probably a pretty good player. Cool. Ryan Silverfield, probably done at that point. Right, wrong, think again. That is because, remember last week, Eli Drinkowitz, Missouri, beats Arkansas in the rivalry game. Eli Drinkowitz says, I'm from Arkansas. Hope they can figure it out. Hope they get things going. I love my school. And he said, I didn't say I love my school. He said, I love my state. I love where I'm from. Well, Eli Drinkowitz, you better watch out for your recruits, because Ryan Silverfield is coming forward, baby. Terry Hodges, number 2 player in the state of Arkansas, running back, committed to Missouri, flips to the Arkansas Razorbacks. And then, oh, by the way, to end the day, my man Ryan Silverfield wasn't done. Anthony Kennedy, D lineman from the city of Little Rock, was committed to Miami, flips to the University of Arkansas. So in day 1, Ryan Silverfield not only had time to hang out with Hogs Plus, my boy Matt Z, Coach Z, he also flipped 4 players overall. He didn't flip them, but you get the point. 4 players overall. 3 of the top 4 players in the state of Arkansas, and players who had previously been committed to Oklahoma, Missouri, Miami, and Oklahoma State. Okay? And so listen, is it the be-all, end-all? I don't know. You obviously need more than 4 players to make a program, right? You do. We all understand that. And I'm not saying that, oh my God, he's the next Nick Saban and just line up the national championships. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is it is about messaging, one, and the message is he wants to be there. He's expecting to win. And 2, he is clearly transferring that to players, at least the ones from the state of Arkansas. And listen, none of us have a crystal ball. None of us know what's going to happen. None of us know if this is going to work or not. But you know what's a good way to get started in building a football program from the ground up? And Arkansas is certainly that. Keeping the local kids at home. And so to get 3 of the top 4 players in the state committed, who all were committed to big-time programs, including my man Danny Beal from Cherry Valley, Arkansas. I can't wait to visit Cherry Valley. I'll be there sometime soon. It's totally positive momentum and the totally right way that you want to go about building this thing out. And so again, we don't have a crystal ball. He's got a lot more work to do. Arkansas had a minuscule class to begin with because obviously, a lot of kids decommitted throughout the process of Sam Pittman being fired and uncertainty with the coaching staff. So, I don't know where the recruiting class is going to end up. And I don't know if this is the end of the recruiting run for Ryan Silverfield. We're going to find all of that out here in the next couple weeks. One, National Signing Day is, of course, Wednesday, so that's worth noting. Don't know how many more kids there will even be to flip at that point. And then 2, it is obviously going to come down to retaining the right guys, portal, who do you get? And then 3, obviously, what kind of coaching staff that you put together. And those are all things that we're going to find out in the future. But I always say this on this show. I go back to my original Fox Sports Radio partner, Arnie Spanier, radio legend, been around forever. He's got this big old gravelly voice. And he always said, Torres, the show's tonight. And what that means, what that meant, what that still means, I still just did a show with Arnie a few weeks ago, is that we can't start projecting to, well, this recruiting run means nothing because who knows how good they're going to be. No. You can't do that. Just like you can't be like, whatever, the Lakers traded for Luka. Give them the next 5. We don't know. All we can do is base our opinions on what we know in the moment. And what I think that I know in the moment is that I did not expect Ryan Silverfield to essentially flip 4 kids, all from major power conference teams, mostly from the state of Arkansas, in day 1. And so we'll see what happens from here. National Signing Day is Wednesday. I thought it was interesting. Ryan Silverfield actually is not doing his press conference until later in the week. I wonder if he maybe knew a flip or 2 was coming and they didn't want to do the press conference on Monday and not allow him to be able to talk about some of these kids. But I bring it up because it's an exciting time. It's a fun time. And let me wrap by saying this. There is one more person who was very impressed by the first couple days or the first day of the Ryan Silverfield era. That's John Calipari. So John Calipari, remember, before he was at Arkansas, he was at Kentucky. Before he was at Kentucky, where was he at, people? The University of Memphis. So he knows people from Memphis, and he made a few phone calls on Ryan Silverfield. And let's just say he likes what he saw. Play the sound, man.
Ryan was hired. I called 5 or 6 of my buddies in Memphis that I knew would know him. And all I wanted to know, is he a good guy? That's what I wanted to know, because I don't know much about football, okay? But I wanted to know, is he a good guy? And they came back, and they all were glowing about him. They said he's a worker, he's a grinder, he is a terrific person. And then I'm hearing they're like top 20 offenses every year. And this maybe I'm wrong, but all those guys that got those jobs from that league, he was 5-0 against them.
That's right.
He's 5-0 against them. And, I think, again, this is a place that I'm just saying you could do some special things in basketball, in football, in baseball, in softball, in soccer, in golf. And what about that track stuff?
Pretty good at that.
Just think about what I'm saying. Women's basketball, football. I mean, when I bring people to campus and they see those facilities and that stadium and all that, they're like, wow. So, no, I told him I said, I'm here for you. Whatever you need from me, however I can help you. I heard he flipped a few recruits already. Let's give him a hand. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Keep doing that. And, I think he's going to do a great job. And I'm happy that I can help if I can. Whatever I can do, I'll be there for him.
That was John Calipari talking about the new head football coach. So one, I think his facts weren't quite right. He said Silverfield was undefeated against all the coaches that got jobs. I believe they lost to John Summerall and Tulane just a few weeks ago. But listen, facts are optional, baby. I think, first of all, I love that John Calipari has become like part basketball coach. He's like part basketball coach, part like tourism bureau head. But one thing I will say about Cal, and this is not a Cal segment, I promise, it is clear that he loves living in Fayetteville, loves living in Northwest Arkansas. And I'll take it a step further. What Coach Cal said is a lot of what I saw when I was on campus 2 years ago. Ironically, it was right around this time. I was there for the ACC SEC Challenge, which starts today in basketball. I was there when Duke played in Bud Walton. But, until you get to that campus, until you see that area, how beautiful it is, how beautiful the new buildings are. I remember, I'll tell you a quick side story. I remember parking at Bud Walton, and where the media parks is next to the softball field. And the softball field lights were on. And I remember taking a picture to my wife and be like, this is the softball stadium. She's like, I've never seen anything like it. So what Cal said is accurate. It's all there. And again, I do still think like the old school stuff is important. It's why Lane Kiffin took the LSU job, because the high school recruiting is so good. But if Clark Lee can win at Vandy, if Lane Kiffin can win at Ole Miss, if Eli Drinkowitz can win at Missouri, Arkansas, you can win football games there. Coach Cal appears to agree. Now it's up to Ryan Silverfield, but a heck of a first day for the new head coach.